Hey everyone, welcome back. Let's talk about unit rates. We are going to divide today, and that is going to help us find unit rates. So, what is exactly a unit rate? Well, it is a rate or a ratio that makes a comparison to one unit. One. Because it's a ratio or a rate, there's going to be two things involved, and one of those things is going to be one of it. For example, $3 per hot dog. How many hot dogs am I talking about for $3? One hot dog. So that is a unit rate. 28 students per class. How many classes is that? That is one class. That is also a unit rate. 4 legs per dog. You see me here. Do you hear me saying the word per a lot? That is when I see that dash, slash, whatever that is. That's me saying per, and that's letting you know that it's a comparison. Okay? So 4 legs per dog. That's only one dog, right? So that is a unit rate. So let's talk about why my screen went blank. Don't know what was there. We're going to move on though. How do you find the unit rate? Oh, I know what was there. It was a good slide. Where'd you go? Hold on. It was this one. All right, we're going to talk about this one. I don't know why this one didn't convert over. So there's lots of ways that you could write a unit rate. You could write it just 40 miles per gallon, 40 miles slash, which means per gallon, or 40 miles to 1 gallon, 40 miles on top, gallon on the bottom, okay? And then over here, you'll see 40 mpg. That means miles per gallon. mph, miles per hour. WPM, words per minute. So unit rates are very, very popular. So popular, in fact, that at times they just use the first letters. Okay, unit rates always have 2 labels because we're comparing 2 things. So even when it's just the mpg, you're still comparing 2 things, miles per gallon, miles per hour, words per minute. Okay, you're going to see those unit rates abbreviated at times. All right, I think we can go back to, oh, not that. Okay, so let's talk about how to find the unit rate. Now that you know what unit rates look like and that they always need to have 2 labels. The way you find a unit rate is you set up the ratio. So let's do that. For I traveled 80 miles in 2 hours. Set up the ratio as like a fraction. It always works best if it's a fraction. And divide the top number by the bottom number. I've seen it numerator, denominator. I don't know. I know that's true for fractions. I don't know if it's true with ratios, so I just say top number, bottom number. Here is why we are going to divide the top number by the bottom number. If we take the bottom number and divide it by itself, we get to 1. And that 1 is the key to making it a unit rate, right? So that's why I end up dividing the top number by the bottom number, because that is how I get to 1, which is my unit rate. So 80 divided by 2 is 40. The question is, what is my unit rate if I traveled 80 miles in 2 hours? Well, if this was 80 miles, now I'm going to say it's 40 miles. And if this was 2 hours, I'm going to say it's now just 1 hour. So my unit rate is 40 miles per hour. And that's a really common one you see a lot, isn't it? You could just write 40 mph. I'm going 40 miles per hour if I did 80 miles in 2 hours. That's a unit rate. Let me give you some more tips to help you along the way. When you are dealing with money, when one of the things you're comparing is money, always, 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 always put the money on top. Because usually what you're wondering is how much is it per one item, right? So you want to get the item down to 1. So Dean paid $27 for 4 movie tickets. What is the price per ticket, per one ticket? I know what it is for 4 tickets. How do I get that down to just one ticket? Well, I divide it by the bottom. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. So now I know I will get it to a unit rate of 1 ticket. And then 27 divided by 4, I can't do it mentally, but I do know how to divide fractions, as Mrs. Madsen taught me earlier this year, and I rocked it. I know that the first number always goes inside. 4 does not go into 2, but it will go into 27 6 times for 24, giving me a remainder of 3. Now, because we're talking about money, we're not going to say 6 3/4 of a dollar. That doesn't make sense. So instead, we're going to change it into a decimal by adding a decimal and a 0. 4 will go into 37 times. Get a remainder of 2. It's okay, I'm just going to add another 0. 4 will go into 25 times with no remainder, correct? So the price per ticket, we're not going to say 6 3/4. We're going to say $6.75. That's not the unit rate yet. Per ticket. Now it's the unit rate because I have 2 labels. I have the dollar and I have the ticket. So if I spent $27 on 4 tickets, that means each ticket was $6.75. Okay. All right, here's another hint for you. Usually the number on top is the bigger number. That way, to get it down to just 1, it's easier with the smaller number on bottom, correct? So bigger number goes on top. So with this example, Sarah drove 72 miles on 4 gallons of gas. What is her MPG? MPG, oh, that's miles per gallon. That is a unit rate that you hear a lot about if you are into cars. So let's put the bigger number on top, 72 miles on 4 gallons. Let's get it to a unit rate by dividing the top and the bottom by 4. 72 divided by 4 will be 18. So I've got to label this. I can't just say 18 over 1 because I don't know what 18 or 1 is. But I can say 18 miles per gallon because I have my miles and my gallon, and I know that if I divide up those 72 miles into 4 gallons of gas, there'll be 18 miles in each gallon. So that is a unit rate. All right, as a reminder, your unit rates need 2 labels since they're comparing 2 things. If you have 98 students in your class, 98 students in 4 classes, what is the unit rate? What it's asking is how many students per class, right? So let's divide by 4 again, because that'll get me down to 1 class. 98 divided by 4 will be, no. That's 4, because that's 16. Have a remainder. Let's do decimal. 4 into 20 will be 5. Bring the decimal point up. 24.5. So 24.5 students per class. Now, this is the unit rate, but is Mrs. McKell, the principal, going to really put 24.5 students in each class? No, right? You can't have 0.5 students in a class. So what does that mean? Well, maybe some classes will have 25 students and some classes may only have 24 students, but it will all even out to be a total of 98 students in those 4 classes, correct? All right, let's go back to miles per gallon. I want to buy a new car that gets good gas mileage because gas is expensive. So when I'm looking at all the different cars, I've picked out 4 cars I like. and I know how many miles they get per 2 or 1 or 3 gallons. I need your help in finding all the cars that get more than 25 miles per gallon. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm going to say no, Mrs. Manson, you don't want car B. It only gets 22 miles per gallon, which is not greater than 25 miles per gallon. But what about A? A gets 68 miles in 2 gallons, which would be 34. Definitely, you're definitely going to tell me to look at A, right? What about 26? There's no way. It takes 3 gallons to go 26 miles. That's definitely not going to be 25 miles per gallon, is it? No, siree. Okay, come on, D. D is 78 miles in 3 gallons. This one has promise. Let's figure out what the unit rate is. Take the top number, divide it by the bottom number, and it's looking good so far. Ooh, yes, 26. So you're going to say, Miss Madsen, look into car A and D if you're wanting a car with good gas mileage. Okay. All right, it's up to you now. A company packed 108 items in 12 boxes. What is the unit rate? Well, you're going to put the bigger number on top, and then you're going to divide it by the bottom number. That'll give you how much it is per box, because 12 divided by 12 is 1 box, and that's the unit rate key. So then over here, 12 will go into A, 108. I think it's 9 times, right? Because A is 96. Yep. 9 items per box. Last question for you. If there are 112 students and 14 teachers, what is the unit rate for that? Did you set it up this way? 112 on top, 14 on bottom, and you ended up dividing 14 into 112, which is 0, 0, 14 times 5. No, not 14 times 5. How about 14 times 8? 32. Ooh, there we go. 8. So that means that there are 8. Really? 14 times 8. 32, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 8 students per teacher. I would love 8 students in my class. That'd be awesome. All right, friends, you have now learned how to find unit rates. Keep it up. I'm always so awkward at the end of these, huh? You guys need to tell me how to end these.